My grandparents could read this land like a book. They spent long periods of time, months, without even going to town because their pharmacy, their grocery store was right here in the land. If they had a headache or body pain, my grandmother would call me up and tell me, go to the river and get willow bark and mesquite bark and cactus root. I learned from my grandparents how to recognize the medicinal native plants and how to harvest them. And I grew a real strong attachment to the plants of this region. My name is Benito Trevino. I was born and raised here in Stark County. As a young child, I realized that education was a way to improve our lives. So when I studied botany in college, I kind of connected the things that my grandparents did with the things that I learned in college. It made a logical connection how all these things came together. For example, when my grandmother would ask me to go to the river and collect willow bark, the derivative for aspirin, salicylic acid, was discovered in the willow bark. By using mesquite bark to flavor it, and then they used the cactus root to buffer it, so it made a much, much better product. So she was really studying chemistry from the natural world. My family, if you look at it, they actually had like PhDs in this land. People think that this environment is harsh, but there's things that invite you to connect with the things that are here and learn from them. The plants of this area, all of them have something to offer to us, and we need to conserve those and further study and find out what secrets they have. In our culture, we're losing that information because we're not practicing the medicinal uses of our native plants. And we're losing them very fast. Hey, John. How you doing?
How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Good, thank you for having me.
Working with local ranchers like Benito is key to the conservation work of American forests. The lower Rio Grande Valley contains a treasure of biodiversity. There are over 500 species of birds, 300 species of butterflies, and the U.S.'s only population of the ocelot. These species are critical to the region's economy, drawing thousands of eco-tourists to the region each year. And all of them, including the 1,200 plant species, need the thorn forest to survive. Urbanization, invasive species, and climate change are taking their toll. American Forests and its partners have put together a bold conservation plan for the valley. And working with conservationists like Benito is essential to preserving the future of this region.
I really appreciate what American Forest is doing to conserve our wilderness and forest here in the lower Rio Grande Valley. We are at a crossroads where conservation has become very important. It's not one individual or two individuals, it's really a force multiplier when you bring other groups, have exchange of ideas, but you're all headed in the same direction and can really accomplish a lot by working together, sharing the same goals and ideas. I guess people are starting to understand because when I started in '92, I literally could not give native plants away. So we went from that to, I cannot keep up with demand. This year, that contract over there is probably close to 50,000. They're all sold, I just need delivery. And then I've got probably another 20 or 30,000 in 1 gallon, 5 gallons, 20 gallons. I want to have an impact in preserving our culture. We can't protect our culture and our way of life if we don't protect our environment. So when we maintain this environment, it's like preserving all the history books in a library. When we're walking in the land, what we see is not just green stuff or thorny stuff. Each plant has a story to tell. When you learn that information, it brings significance. You develop a connection. And maybe that will inspire us to protect our environment rather than just let it go.